Good afternoon. We live in a time where terror is sort of our reality. Terrorist attacks, it seems like, can happen at any moment, at any time, in any place. And we're not always so immune from that. We know the history that we have lived through. We see it on the news as to what's going on in other parts of the world. And it can cause us, even though we're separated by oceans from some of these attacks, we can get the idea that those kinds of things could happen here. Terrorists could strike here. It's happened in the past, for sure. And the threat seems to always be going up. It always seems to be rising. And then there's the threats that are made by terrorists among our own citizens. People who grew up here, people who live here, who do things that cause terror among other people. They do violence, they make threats, they carry it out, and it raises the level of anxiety and nervousness and fear among us all because we think these very things could happen. If you watch the news, you know that they're happening in other parts of the world, and we fear. We are fearful that they could happen here. What can we do? Where can we find peace and security? The only place we can go is to someone higher than us, someone who makes a promise beyond this world. This is what God says through Isaiah chapter 54, verse 14. In righteousness you will be established. Oppression will be far from you, so you will not be afraid. Terror will be far from you. It will never come near you. Just reading those words, you can tell that they can't be talking about a time right now, because we live in a time where oppression and terror are real threats against us. And while we may not face them directly, we know that other people are. So this can't be talking about a time right now where God is promising that these things will never come near and will not strike us. But what he says in that first sentence, in righteousness you will be established. That is talking about what Jesus has done for you. He has made you right with God, and in that righteousness, you are already perfect before God because God sees Christ when he looks at you. God thinks about Jesus when he thinks about you, so that he sees you as perfect. You are righteous in his sight already. Heaven is yours, and it's that perfection of heaven. That's a time when no oppression and no terror will ever be able to strike you again. That's what you can look forward to now. It doesn't mean the threats won't be there, but it means that in the long view of things, God is going to bring you to a place where you will always be safe and secure because you're righteous in Christ Jesus. Until we see each other again, the Lord's blessings on your day.